Hey guys, it's Pilleater, and today's my 26th birthday. I thought I'd give a little perspective on things, and just to wrap up. So, I just woke up about 20 minutes ago. Unfortunately, I have a sickness. Last week, I caught it watching a boxing match between the black guy and the Irish guy, and I think I might have got it like pooping in the public place or something. Just something going around, or just I got other sickness when I came back from American Renaissance, and that was just in the throat. That was just mucus, but this one was really bad. I pretty much was out for a week, and yeah, I'm still recovering from the sickness. Really started on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and it just really got me like I was dying. Um, but a few days later on Sunday, I feel a little okay. I'm still on meds, and happened to be sick on a Sunday on my birthday. It's one of those gloomy days outside, and again, it just seems like any other day, as would be my quote unquote birthday, the day of self-reflection. And 26 years ago, I was born in 1991 of September 3rd, and that's really strange and hard to kind of believe that. I mean, I don't even remember my first birthday, so technically this would be a new 25, right? If I can remember a second birthday, wouldn't I be 24? Or yeah, it's interesting to think about. And so I thought I'd give a reflection of what I think about life right now and the current state of things, and maybe I would reflect on this video in the future, or at least my current state of how I think about myself. So obviously I'm 26 years old today, as of today. I have, survived high school, graduated college last year, and I have experienced a dredgingly bad job working for a phone company, and I have pretty much survived the early 20s period just by being myself and doing the right thing, and being myself, really. And it's weird because people say they have wacky 20s, right? But I'm a pretty normal, prude kind of guy. I would say mm, me being 20 is just a reflection of how old I am. It doesn't mean I'm a kookier person. 2 years ago, I was a little stupider and dumber. I mean, when I was 22, I thought I was Japanese, but now as I'm 26, I am almost done getting a TEFL certificate, teaching English as a foreign language, in about a week. And unfortunately, I have homework due tonight, which I even haven't got started with, and that's even more weird on my birthday. And well, mid-September, I should be more of a freer man, a freer person, maybe young man, a young adult. I'm trying to make the transition into becoming an adult. I would love that, but I feel like so many other white men in this day and age, where things are deracinated. As white people, we have this upholdedness for this Anglo-Saxon individualism, and it's certainly for most white people, everyone has to emulate one another or try to assume, and not every white person has that. And it's really becoming a sad game versus alphas versus betas versus lower types. And I would not call myself an alpha by any definition, or Chad. In fact, I would be, as I written before, I am the very proud beta. And I also would consider myself someone of a person that is about values and just the typical man that would, uphold Western civilization. However, as I'm reflecting now upon life, I find that to be almost not feasible or not possible. Certainly one of the most important books I read was F. Roger Devlin's Sexual Utopian Power. I went to see a book signing at the time with my Chinese girlfriend, and that was a really cool event. But his philosophy is really important, and I think that is something to, stand by. But not to sound like Noel Igashev or like Tim Wise, but very critical of white people and what white people do now. I get the whole alt-right and whole white nationalist circuit is trying to reinvert whiteness studies and this whole anti-white narrative into pro-white studies, pro-whiteness, and I like it. It's a positive spin. However, there's a difference between being proud you're white and being critical about being white. And again, this is going to sound coming out controversial because it sounds like I'm one of the anti-white guys. I'm not anti-white at all, but I'm willing to say that I really don't like the whites canon or the whites ethnocentrism, that there's this new arrogance held by whites where it's becoming increasingly dividing, and it's made me worried. I mean, I'm getting worried to the point where normal Stacys and Chads are flirting with the alt-right in order to get girls, and girls are doing it to find alphas because it's the bad boy thing to do. Oh, I've been red-pilled. I know about race, and it's really stupid, and it's these stupid Stacys and Chads that are doing it. I mean, I'm not only talking about like the blonde bimbo Alicia Silverstone cheerleaders or Chads. I'm talking about these stupid Antifa girls and Antifa guys, right? The stupid punk rock girls that just disgust me. Reminds me of MySpace culture. Never want to grow up out of that. And unfortunately, a majority of white people who live in who are metrosexual, who live in that area, find that attractive. And it's just such a white people thing. It's utterly disgusting. Every single member of Antifa is guilty of this. But there's new Antifa that basically find that it's okay to flirt with alt-right and flirt with the left or cultural Marxist side, and it's disgusting. And that's what the alt-right has been doing. They're looking at it as a metapolitical victory, but I find it just disturbing, and just it just makes you want to hate white people even more, because white people are doing it to get and uphold. They want to be the part of the cool kids club, the KKK. But these are just some of my reactions I'm seeing, and it's all because of the whole Charlottesville event, which I thought would be a peaceful identitarian thing, but turned out to be a whole shitstorm of Nazi fuckers and all this stuff. So, it's not that I'm disavowing the alt-right. I like the alt-right, where it's going. Or no, not where it's going, but I like the alt-right. But I just don't like this whole institution being set up in the past year. And I'm really holding on now to Countercurrents. I find that Countercurrents is really the only website, blog that has it down. I feel like a lot of young people are into it for the wrong reasons, the TRS crowd and all that. So, yeah, it's just becoming this whole thing that's like, it's pathetic. It's like, I'm gonna red pill my girl or some bullshit like that. But back into my life. When I was 17, I was in public school, in a black public school, and I was jumped by a bunch of blacks in a knockout game, and I was sent to a different school of, I guess you would call bad boys, and I remember just going in there and just being very skeptical and reading weird stuff like, did 6 million really die? And 6 million really die, and weird books, probably Ian Brady stuff, weird avant-garde science fiction. I was really out there because I thought liberals would accept anything in their mind, right? But it wasn't like that at all, and my understanding, doing a 10th grade report on fascism just led me to understand why racists are racist, and I was a part of that movement before Alternative Right magazine by Richard Spencer was there. I was listening to Voice of Reason radio network even before there was the whole established. I was a huge fan of Robert Stark, and I kept it secret. And during that grade, you like Screwdriver, No Remorse, Brutal Attack, you know, all the old school skinhead bands, and just Razor's Edge, and you just think, wow, this is pretty edgy stuff. I want to understand skinhead culture, and you just get into it in an artsy perspective. But I mean, too, at the same time, this was when I was 17, but before then I was 15. I was into like, Kid Robot and Juxtapose and High Fructose magazine and Vinyl Toys. I had the whole Vinyl Toy collection. I had like Dalek and Frank Kozik and like Gary Baseman, Tim Biscup, Super Do. I love Kurt Halsey a lot. His art is really cool. I mean, I still look at my books in my room. Jim Woodring, I wanted to be like this weird lowbrow artist too. And that evolution after I was 17 was just this whole misguidance too, because I went to a different high school, separated the sexes. You had boys and girls, and I remember just getting a bomber jacket on my birthday, and my dad yelling at me saying, "You look like a fucking retarded skinhead." And I remember just like yelling at him and just crying that birthday. I think it was like my 7th, 18th, 19th birthday or some shit. But like it was really bad, like violence at home, like domestic violence at home, and it was really bad for my psyche. But it was really kind of big in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. That was like the golden age of alt-right stuff. And when I was getting to countercurrents, countercurrents for me, hearing Greg Johnson on Star Truth Radio was like a huge eye-opener, intellectualism for me. And so about the time of my last year in high school, I started to make this little, still interested in the alt-right, but not exactly. As, I was trying to find different hobbies. Like I liked music a lot, and I did my cartooning, and I was really hated, like vehemently, like hated, like Chads and Stacy's and like guys and girls in general, but basically white people in general. And I felt it was really fucking disgusting that these people were saying they hated white people more than I hated white people. And it was like saying, oh, I hate myself because I have white privilege in this, so I'll have black friends. It's like, no, I really fucking hate white people, and I want to throw you. Like, I think there's something fucking disgusting with the values of white people today, and you want to fix that with white nationalism, and that's how concerned you are, and that's why I was a part of it. I mean, when I first got into college, I was after my 20th birthday, and I remember that same week Atari Teenage Riot was playing. I started a project, and I called it Fringe Magazine. In my first year of college, I showed it to my Jewish professor, and he loved it. And it basically would cover moon denial, Holocaust denial, aliens, conspiracy theories, porn, stuff like that. And it was like this black and white stencil stuff. I have the copies, rough draft somewhere, and my teacher loved it. Professor loved it. First grade, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just this kooky kid into like weird digital hardcore and stuff like that. This was about 6 years ago, and I just thought that was interesting. It was Vice magazine before it was Vice, or at least when Vice was getting to that popular stage. But that was my plan with it, and again, I was really into it. And but at that same time as well, when I was having that like depression, I was meeting up blindly with other people, like Asian women, who were just actually nice to me, which I never considered in my life before. And this path, along with me being, self-flagellatory, hurting myself, I wanted to find another outlet because I didn't know what I was doing in college. I was just thrown to the side as you go part-time, and it's just like, what do they want to do, kick you out? And they were trying to kick me out in like that college area, that first college I went to. But Afterwards, when I turned 21, on my 21st birthday, I had the worst birthday ever. It was raining. It's about 5 years ago. It was raining. Uh, my autistic friends came over out my will. I was at my parents' house. My mom cooks me this fabulous big ass dinner I didn't want. My Chinese girlfriend at the time said she would visit me, but she didn't because she moved to Chicago to see her other fucking white boyfriend she didn't want to talk about. I fucking blawed my eyes out. My friends didn't understand, and it was just so fucking bad. Like, I was just some fucking tool, so that's really traumatic. But it still gives me trauma and headaches this day. And being on my 26th, I just think 5 years ago it was like that, and it was really bad for me. But 4 years ago, however, it was on my 22nd birthday. It was one of the best birthdays ever. I was at Temple University for Asian Studies, where I made a really life-changing thing during. I was 21. I wanted to fix all the things that were bad about me. I mean, I went to psychologists, I saw a therapist, and I got, went through some, and I thought Asian studies would be a great endeavor, and that same Chinese bitch who I met, who didn't see on my 21st birthday, showed up on my 22nd to redeem, and she kissed me for it, and it was one of my best birthdays ever. One of my best birthdays ever, my 22nd, hanging out at Temple, on your own at a young, youthful age, and I loved it, really, and there was so much that happened that day. I remember, too, about 4 years ago, I was wearing a Doraemon t-shirt. Doraemon was actually born on September the 3rd, so I might have a spiritual connection to Doraemon that way. So yeah, me and Doraemon are connected. And I remember just being in my Japanese class, my professor congratulating me for being young. Some other teachers as well, and it was just such a nice day. But, then on my 23rd, it was just, I was staying at home. I went to Monco to check out a different college area to check out, if kids are doing anything. They weren't. Nobody cared. I gave a book, Characteristics of Games by Richard Garfield, to a friend as a gift on my 23rd to another friend. I just pretty much lived an aloof time. I went to Applebee's with my brother and my mom. I fucking hate family outings so much. But that's what happened. On my 24th, it was 2 years ago, I trying to remember what happened on my 24th. I was in fucking shit. I was in this really new, different college campus, probably Villanova. Villanova, and I remember just fucking debating with these black girls about how fucking Western civilization's going down shit, and they're being fucking ignorant about it. I'm just yelling in class and being myself and trying to be aggro with it. Last year, 25th, was with my new Asian girlfriend. I was like sleeping in my bed. This was last year. I was in my bed and we were making out, and she just told me, I have my period, we can't have sex. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then later my family wanted me to go see a Phillies game with them. Abusive dad, naive mom, and arrogant brother. And the girlfriend didn't want to go because she has traumas about baseball and being made fun of. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not with her any longer. She's a little kooky, but that was my 25th year later. Here I'm making this video. Pardon my cough. But it's weird because most dumb young people today, when they have birthdays, they go and they have kooky party experiences, right? They'll on their birthday, their ideal is like going to the bar, snorting coke, getting some prostitutes, and just going all out crazy, right? They don't believe in any standards of whatever, and that's kind of their ideal of a birthday. I mean, tonight I'll probably go over a friend's house and go karaoke or a bar again. Probably sleep over his house, but I don't know. It's kind of my ideal, but people have these different ideals or philosophies, what their birthday, the Western birthday is, and it's all decadent. I'm certainly nihilistic. And from my end, my birthdays, my self-reflection days were horrible and really bad. And some people, they say how great their birthdays are, and the people who think their lives are great are people who are Chads and Stacy's and normies and don't question or doubt anything. I find that, and again, I find that my life, you can call myself as a user from R9K or something like that, but it's not that glamorous and not that, and I want to make my life better. And I know that this next year, when I'm 26 to 27, this year, starting today, for the next 365 days, I will see changes into my own personality and my own social development. I might even and I really want to become an adult or a husband or a guy with a different, more of a full-time job. I mean, it's okay, my work right now. It's not really. Want to have a transition to somewhere else, as well accomplish a lot in my arts, from blogging to YouTubing to music, maybe to as well cartooning and art. I find that there is a lot to do in the next year, and it's going to be hopefully an early golden age for me, myself. I hope to focus on that and increase my social networking, as I will say that being 24 to 25 to 26 has pretty much been a golden age for another most progressive year in my life, and that is a really good thing. Again, to go on such rants, I could have had it better. That's what I'm pretty much trying to get at. I could have had it better that if I had a bigger trust fund, a higher education from, or a STEM degree, or maybe some exaggerant family planning and certain connections, I probably would have shut up and not do these YouTube videos, or do them in a different way where I'm paused and PC and naive. I could be like Rachel and June or Kaj Gen 3 or some Japan blogger and just shut up and just be any other normie and collect monetization from YouTube and just do that. But I have a confused life, really, because of traumatic backgrounds and people manipulating me, where I can't be an adult that has its own freedom and liberty. And I'm trying to work on that in my own interest. And once I have those things, I can be more free and more self-assertive. And I can have, and I think that it will, more of that good things will happen in the next year. I think there's a lot of white people that say, "Oh, my life's bad, my life's shit," but really they're just they're sad because mommy and daddy's not paying them to have more fun. Everything is now becoming everything's based upon capital. How much you own, how much you buy, how much you right down from boyfriend to girlfriend. It seems like it's just a social status thing. It's especially among whites. It's not authentic, and it's not based upon this real relationship. And again, to point out, Roger Devlin's book, Sexual Utopia and Power, the normal average guy who you might consider a beta, he's not wedding at an early age and having kids. He's just thrown to the side. He might even have kids till he's 35. But that's bad, and I think this has something to do with the nihilistic and hedonistic nature of white culture right now today. It seems to me that only Anglo-Saxon white people are the only ones that are very progressive and are good and like white-skinned Asians. But all other white people, whether it be me as a mixed-race European person and other whites that don't come from Anglo-Saxon backgrounds, they are kind of self-destructive. I mean, you could be saying, are Italians white? This is the same argument they had when nationalism was forming nationalism, as Richard Spencer likes to argue, is he wants it to be this big clusterfuck of other white people saying, I, fellow white person, this white, but this is just Anglo-Saxon supremacy because there are different classes of white people. And if that's true, then I really do believe, I'm personally a race realist and human biodiversity person, and I think my own white background doesn't correlate with an Anglo-Saxon background, and I would be higher and more grateful if I belonged to a white Anglo-Saxon class. But because the breakdown of America has too many different classes of white people, from Polish, Irish, Hungarian, French, mixed with this and that, it doesn't make collective nature that makes divided individualism. And so I think that means white people can't have this weird white ethno state if it means the breakdowns and civil wars of other white people. So this doesn't mean that white people are supposedly doomed, but it seemingly that they are doomed. I think I certainly would not want to have my offspring have retarded or values of confusing a background they're not in. I mean, certainly there's this white American class, but there's not that cohesion. It's like, oh, I'm Italian American, Irish American. And I find that really disturbing because it's individualism and there's no collective nature for it. I find that the race realism can happen among whites, and we could be talking about South African Boers to Romanians or to Irish, whether you want to call them white niggers, but I don't see myself as a white nigger. I don't see myself as that. I see myself as a person with an IQ of 120 plus that comes from a higher socioeconomic background, somebody that has a trust fund, somebody that has well manners. But the reason why I doubt myself and have these traumas is because I'm in the wrong class of white people with that money. Again, I think that has a lot to do. It's like with black rappers who have mansions and who make these albums, or like blacks who go to the NFL or basketball and they get this money, and can you imagine Mike Tyson's kids now? Mike Tyson's kids are probably well educated and have all this money. You could say that their genetics couldn't be like Mike Tyson himself, but that social environment is going to make them more brighter and certainly of more of a higher class value. And I only want the best for my children. And I don't want to have white sons and daughters that are going to have tattoos or listen to disgusting music or go to do disgusting things that are just, that's not beauty. It's ugly, and it's a part of our decadence of society, and that's why this alt-right or white nationalism is needed. It's because it's fixing this disgusting nature of whites and telling them to stop abusing this nihilism and have sense in your life. And I really do believe some of these Anglo-Saxon elites, even though they mean being nice, they are just in these positions of power running away from everything. They're nihilistic themselves. And that's really bad, because I think they have duty to uphold, but they're too busy living in a gated community outside of a major city, and they just want to live their life and die and inherit the old money next. And the next generation does the same thing, and they get bored and they do the arts and all that. And that's where our white society is going. There's a destruction for the white middle class because of the wrong type of white people, and the only white people that should live are white liberals who support Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. So as a white person, I'm very critical of our white backgrounds, even for the alt-right background, where alt-right whites want to value their identity, and they show the same values which white liberals do. And this is very concerning. And people say, well, ethno-nationalism or segregation's right because multiculturalism and diversity is a source of tension and conflict. And I say, for that matter, it's true. And but it doesn't have to be like that way. If people want to associate with people like themselves, then let them. I find that white people are being more finding value in life being with Asians. And I think a lot of white people who live out in Nebraska or Florida or Georgia or maybe like Oregon, Nevada, when they find themselves an Asian woman or a white girl that finds themselves an Asian man, they are finding a new life that is away from their disgusting white background that has nothing to offer in the arts and the cultures and literature and anything. They're not enriched with that. But with an Asian wife or Asian husband, their lives are being enriched. The same vice versa for the Asian Americans or Asians in America. Their lives are being enriched with a white husband, white female. And this will produce a Eurasian offspring. And that Eurasian offspring, they're going to be enriched being around other whites and Asians, and there's going to be a real bicultural thing happened. And this is only happening is because other whites are agreeing that white culture is sick. And again, this sounds a part of the dooming pessimism. And it seems to me a choice to go, as it's going to be really hard to defend white interest if that means sweple shit, which I'm deracinated from. I don't find any of the sweple shit interesting. I don't like a majority of white interest. If you love Asian culture, chances are you're going to be with an Asian person. And if you're an Asian person that likes white culture, chances are you're going to be with a white person. And that's just going to be a synergy for a Eurasian class of people that share both bicultural values. And it's a great escape in a way from normie Chad and Stacydom. I find it refreshing and the real path, like Christianity, that is real. And I think further that, again, it's just every day white women are becoming more disgusting and pig-like, and you should just stay away from them. And white men are becoming more arrogant and hipster faggots, and you should stay away from them as well. But I'm running out of thoughts actually right now, but I guess in a concluding remark, that I don't think of self-hatred among, because I just said that there was a self-hatred that white males, white females are lowering in class, and that means, yeah, there is self-hatred, not self-hatred, but it just doesn't make sense, is because it's a truth now that the quality of white males and white females is going down, and the only way to save that is through a companionship with Asians. And so and white nationalists have this weird trad fetish that you should stay with whites and kind of deal with white culture at the whims, and it's just stupid and disgusting. And it gives us all the right that multiculturalism, or the opportunity to be with a different person of a different race, is an important thing. And so, pretty much an advocate for that. Again, as I am 26 years old to this day, I'm going to continue my day, but I'm also reflecting upon my existence as a white person and what I am doing every day. And is this life beneficial to reproduce and have more other white people that have values like me. Of course, I want them to be values like me, but I wouldn't want them to have values which are of wrong kind of white people or disgusting white people like my dad or my brother. So that's interesting. So it's just like being black, really. Think about that. If you're a black person and you marry white, you probably want your children to have similar values like yourself, but not if you really didn't like black culture or ghetto culture. You wouldn't like that because, well, you would marry black and you would want to be in that ghetto culture. But there's huge sympathy for that black culture because it's hard for a black person who doesn't want to be a fucking gangster rapper or some shit. But I find the same way with whites, and I find that it's just not healthy to live a stupid Guido white person lifestyle. It just utterly disgusts me as a wrong kind of white person. I don't think I'm a wrong kind of white person. I just think I am this snowflake or this person in this wrong circumstance, and that values need to be upholded in order to stop this type of this decadence among whites to happen, or at least set in stone by being with someone of a different race, and genetics would come out with a child that is not prone to such decadence. But yeah, this is 26 years, and it's going to be a reflection, so a lot of things are going to happen for Pilleater and Asian Aryanism and for 26 to 27. So I hope this is a good one, okay?